What's up, nerds? So I finished the season finale of Creature Commandos because it's getting a second season, which I am excited about. I'm interested to see what they do for next season in terms of their mission, because this one was kind of, I don't know if it's going to play into the broader DCU, but we'll see. And if it does, I'm excited to see where that goes. Now, I thought that this finale was really good. I thought it was great. I thought that it wrapped it up pretty good. I apologize. I thought last week, I thought this was the penultimate episode 7, but then I realized shortly that it was not a penultimate episode, that the episode 7 was the finale. So I apologize if I misled you, not in my intention. But I thought that I did think that they could have used another episode to wrap things up a little bit tighter. I thought that this was a little bit rushed in terms of wrapping up the whole storyline with Plazakistan or whatever it's called, and the princess, whatever, Rostovik. I thought that they could have taken one more episode, because some questions that I have is, how did she meet Gorilla Grodd? And I thought that she was Clayface, but I was incorrect and everything. And Clayface was in this episode in terms of he was working with the princess. But I did like this episode. This was Nina's backstory, and that's another thing I felt like, I don't know how I feel. I didn't really want Nina's backstory in the final episode, but at the same time, I'm not complaining about it at all. And I'll tell you right now, they killed off Nina, which was my second favorite character. GI Robot was my favorite character, killed him off. And then they killed off Nina. All the other characters who I didn't mind, they kept them alive. And I'm all like, I'm like, you could have killed off somebody else instead of my favorite characters, but whatever. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, I'm going to get to this breakdown because I've already taken up too much of your time and because I'm late on this stuff. But let me get to this breakdown and then I'll share my thoughts some more at the end. And all right, here we go. Okay, so in the flashbacks, Nina is born with her lungs outside of her body. And her father, Edward, he builds a device to help her breathe before experimenting on her, only to turn her into a mutant of some sort. And then after years of homeschooling her, he enrolls her in a private school to help her socialize with other kids. However, she is bullied by the other students, which leads her into running away from home and living in Star City's sewers until she is captured by the police, and Edward tries to intervene, but he is killed. Now, there are several references to Star City, the birthplace of Nina Mazursky, but Star City is also the home of Oliver Queen, aka the Green Arrow. Now, Nina's room has many famous band posters, including one for Blink-182. And the main poster depicts Eugene Hutz of Gogol Bordello. I don't know who that is. Now, the band featured in most of Creature Commandos soundtrack, and he also appeared in episode 2. The news report about Nina mentions Metropolis and Bloodhaven, and Bloodhaven is the home of Nightwing. So I just wanted to get Nina's flashbacks and her story, her origin story, out of the way right off the bat. And I thought it was a good origin story. I don't really know this character because I don't read Creature Commando comic books, but I really liked her story. I thought her father was a good father. He was doing the best he could with her. And I know that he turned her into a mutant. She was born with her lungs outside of her body, and he was trying to, do all these different tests and everything to try to maybe change her DNA and fix everything. And I get that, and the mom, man, what an asshole. Because that mom was just like, I wish she wasn't born. What? Like, she's doing she's got her problems, but I'm pretty sure she'd rather be alive, honey. I'm like, that's something that you can't account for. Her mom was a little harsh, in my opinion. But the dad, man, way to go, dad. Dad's, we do a lot and we don't get enough credit for it. But he stepped up and he took care of her. And he tried to socialize her with the other students, and they were really mean to her. I just have to say, as somebody that was bullied in high school, I felt bad for her, really bad. And I would have been her friend. I'd have been like, hey, this whole underwater thing is kind of cool. I always like these, and I've said it before, I think the first episode, I always like these underwater creatures and everything. I for some odd reason, I gravitate to them, when they're in stuff and everything. So I just, personally like it. Like, for instance, Abe Sapien in Hellboy, he's always been my favorite in that one. just for an instance. Okay. So I did like her story. I felt bad that her dad died. That cop shot him for no freaking reason. Like, he was not, like, he didn't need to shoot, like, they didn't need to shoot him. They could have detained him without shooting him. He just pulled his gun and shot. Like, there was no rationale behind that and everything. I would like to know if that cop was fired. But yeah, no, it was a good origin story, and I personally liked it, considering I didn't know anything about Nina. But in the present, okay, so Eric, he finds Task Force M, and he tries to talk to the bride, but the bride, she shoots him and leaves him for dead. So, of course, Frankenstein, he is Eric Frankenstein. He's on the march for the bride, and he finds her, in that tower. He ruins their whole thing because she shoots him, and he got shot. I know they're not like invincible, but he took those bullets, and I was like, oh, is he gonna die? I thought he was a lot stronger than that, But it was fine that she was just like, I can't remember what he said. He's like, oh, he said something like Rick Flag, and she's like, I don't care. And she shot him, and I was like, that's funny and everything. But and Eric, he still is in love with her, and I'm like, I don't get it. Like, how it is when you're dating and someone's not into you. And I don't know about you, but me, once I figured out somebody's not into me, I just cut it off right then. Not cut it off, but I just like cut off all attraction, because it's like, it's not going to work out if they're not into you. Like if I, for instance, I went on a date with a girl a couple of times, and one date I was just like, and I paid for everything because I thought, it was going places. And then one time, and then finally I was just, after like the fourth date, I was just like, listen, are you even into me at all? And she was like, well, I see you as like a brother. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool and everything. And I was like, oh, this is going to be 2 checks, and she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, you're paying for yourself, honey. So he needs to realize she's not into you, dude. So back off. I don't get your weirdness and everything. So upon finding Rostovich, all right, they task Nina with the assassination part of her, while Weasel, he alerts Rostovich because he sees the little girl in her, and then Rostovich underneath the water kills Nina, and the others are nearly captured before Waller contacts them, and having learned of Clayface's deception. So this part, I was sad that Nina got to. The princess, you saw that evil in her eye. She went from like innocent princess to downright demon woman. She was all like, and then she was like, and it wasn't just one stab. She like prison shanked her ass. She was like, and everything. I was like, oh man. I was like, that's some crazy shit. And she could have, Nina could have totally just held her underwater like she was drowning, and who would have known the wiser, But she didn't, not lesson learned, because she's dead. But Waller calls her because Rick Flag wakes up, and Rick Flag tells her to go check that doctor woman. And they go there and they find the dead body and everything, Clayface, and they call her up. And I like how they don't have a direct communication with them. It's like they have to call the castle and everything. I was like, that's funny and everything. But poor Nina died. I felt bad. It was really sad. So then the bride, right? She privately confronts Rostovich. And she reveals that she learned how she used Clayface to trick Flag before she kills her. Now, the bride jokingly refers to Dr. Phosphorus as Ghost Rider. I thought it was funny, highlighting his resemblance to the Marvel character who also has a flame glowing face. Dr. Phosphorus says that he hasn't been touched in 15 years. Now, this suggests that the flashback of his family being killed took place 15 years ago, meaning that Batman has been active for at least 15 years in the DCU. Now, the bride reads the book Mathilda by Mary Shelley, and Mary Shelley created Frankenstein, and her book, Mathilda, is about a father's incestuous love for his daughter, somewhat mirroring the bride's relationship with Victor Frankenstein in this show. So she goes into Rostovich's office, and she's all like, I know, I saw Clayface on the screens, right? And Rostovich's like, I don't know what you mean. And she's like, I think that you're a power-hungry dictator, and you want to take over the world, or you want to destroy the world and everything. And I'm all like, that's crazy, and everything. I mean, not crazy. She's crazy for wanting that, because they're like the smallest country ever. So he's gonna shoot the bride and everything, because the bride's all like, I figured your shit out, honey. And so she shoots her in the forehead, right? She's like, you screwed Flag to get him under your control, because that's what ladies do with the V. They get you under their control, and you're just stuck in the pussy fog, and you just can't get out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just like, it's so good, that VJ, and you're just like, it's so good. You're just stuck in the pussy fog, and you can't see things clearly. You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes once you get that post nut clarity, you're all good, but like at the same time, you're stuck in the fog. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying and everything. So sometime later, right, the bride, Phosphorus, Nosferatu, Kahalis, Weasel, and a rebuilt GI robot, and King Shark are a new iteration of Task Force M. Now, the bride will lead a new team of Creature Commandos, and the team includes Dr. Phosphorus, Weasel, a rebuilt and improved GI robot, and some new characters too. King Shark joins the Creature Commandos, and he previously appeared in the Suicide Squad movie, and he's back in prison now, and he's been moved to a different compound to serve the bride's new Task Force M team. Now, Kahalis joins the Creature Commandos, and he is a revived mummy who worked for SHADE, a counterterrorism organization led by Father Time that uses the Creature Commandos as field agents, and Nina Mazursky and Frankenstein were also on that team. Now, Nosferatu also joins the Creature Commandos, and she's a powerful vampire who once fought Superboy to take over the Wildlands, a place filled with genetic experiments of evolved animals. So they get formed into this new group for Task Force M for season 2, right? And this is the end of the episode, but there's a post credit scene, which I'll talk about in a minute. But they've got all these new members, and apparently they are in the comic books or whatnot. And I thought that the two that the Nosferatu and the Kahalis, I don't know who these characters are, because I don't read those comic books. I did like that they rebuilt GI Robot. I don't like his big like huge stature or whatnot, but at the same time, I'm fine with it because I really liked GI Robot as a character. I thought it was fun. I just love, like, he's just like, I just love killing Nazis. I just loved it. I can't help it. He was my favorite character. I'm glad they brought him back, but at the same time, I'm really bummed that they killed Nina, because, and I don't like I can handle it with GI Robot because he's a robot and his head survived or whatnot, and maybe all the nonsense is in his head. But if they bring back Nina, I'm going to be like, no. That's not how this works. I don't like when they kill off a character and then they keep bringing characters back after they kill them off. I don't like that. There has to be ramifications, and there has to be some kind of which one will die. Like the bride, I don't think they're going to kill off the bride ever, but I don't like it if there's not a possibility that the bride could get killed off. I don't like that. I like it that any team member could die. I like the thought of that. So if they're not on the table of dying, then what's the point of watching it? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like when they do prequel shows of characters that are obviously not dead. Like, for instance, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but if you have a show, oh, you know what? Okay, in Star Wars, you have Andor, right? Andor in the show is not going to die because he's in Rogue One, which takes place after the show. So it's like the whole time you're like, there's no stakes here, because like whenever he gets put in danger, he's not going to die. It's the same thing with this show, except it's not the same thing with this show, because you don't know who could die, right? So in a post-credit scene, Eric recovers from his wounds and takes refuge with that old woman living near Victor's mansion. So Frankenstein is alive, that part is also fine with me that he's not dead, because I did think was dead, which I was like, okay, fine. I did like, he was like, what is this? And she says something like, it's like pigeon droppings. And he's like, it tastes terrible. And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, but that's all she's got to eat, fucker. So be grateful. Which I didn't realize that they needed to eat the bride in them. Cause I mean, aren't they just dead, like zombie? I mean, maybe I don't understand Frankenstein very, very well. But okay, so this episode, I thought it was good. I really liked it a lot. I'm glad it got renewed for season 2. I'm excited about it. I really hope that that I'm wondering what mission we're going to get next time. And I would hope that either some of these I mean, we do know Rick Flag Sr. does come into Superman, so we'll see him in Superman, so that'll be fun. But I do wonder if any of these characters like Weasel are going to come back to the live action versions, live action DCU, or if they're just going to stay in the animation. I mean, either way, I'm fine with it, but I would kind of hope that we would get some of maybe one of these characters in live action. If we don't, I won't be sad. But at the same time, I'm all like, it'd be kind of cool to see, you know, one or two of the Creature Commandos. I do wish they hadn't gotten rid of the Suicide Squad, because I did like the Suicide Squad and I like James Gunn's Suicide Squad. So I hope we get to see that at some point in time, you know, in the DCU. But like I said, I won't be mad if we don't, but at the same time, I would like to see the Suicide Squad back again. So I will do a season 1 review of this show. Just give me some time. I'll do it sometime next week. I have a bunch of stuff I have to do and everything. Plus I got to spend time with my family and all that stuff. But I really like this show. Oh, and they brought on King Shark, which I was happy about because I like King Shark from the Suicide Squad movie. He was great. Okay, but tell me what you guys thought about this season finale. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What was your favorite part? Were you sad when Nina died? You know, are you looking forward to this new team of monsters and everything? And what do you think their mission will be for season 2? Just throw out a guess or whatnot. I think that they're gonna, you know, maybe go after Ra's al Ghul or the League of Shadows or whatnot. Who knows? I don't know. You don't know. We'll see. All right. Well, tell me what you guys thought. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. You know, I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on my next video. You guys have a good day. Bye.